thank you so much for joining us today. Super excited to talk to you and very excited to have you back at Trout Lake Hall. I'd like to start with your house because I was just reading an article about how you are renovating a historic Victorian home, and this is maybe your second or third one.
We bought this really wild old Victorian in the kind of Woodstock Eastmoreland neighborhood of Portland. It was in pretty bad shape. And we've been here almost 5 years. We've had to do all of the most annoying, like most expensive stuff, like replacing a roof and like replacing a furnace. The furnace was an oil furnace. It's been a little crazy, but it's kind of mellowed out recently. And it's still like rough around the edges, desperately needs a paint job on the exterior, but like we'll get there someday, you know? But all the characters intact. Like the cabinet behind me is from 1892 and it's really special and it's a magical place to live. So
Yeah, I can definitely relate to like taking care of a historic building, the hall.
right, you know the drill at Trout Lake
Yeah.
Hall.
It's just like
Yeah,
it's a constant work in
it
progress. And it's
is.
sort of like I'm the caretaker for now, right?
Totally.
It's you're the
Yeah, the
only.
house will be here. The Trout Lake Hall will have another steward after you.
Exactly.
And our job is to just not mess it up,
Yeah,
right? To keep the
absolutely.
character intact, to keep the history intact, but also to make it livable and usable for the modern times as well.
What's the importance of being surrounded by beauty on your music and your creativity?
I think I've always just been someone who appreciates surroundings and beauty, and I've always chosen to make beautiful homes and prioritize that. I'm a bit of a collector and so slash hoarder, but this house has the space for all the things so it doesn't seem cluttery because it's all spread out now. So I don't really have to have a hoardy vibe anymore.
Room to add more, maybe.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Do you find cool treasures on your travels? I know you.
Always,
Okay.
yeah. Anytime that I travel, I'm always like filling my suitcase with random things and somehow fitting the things in my suitcase. I mean, the little this I just got in Mexico last week. It was a
Merch
treasure.
goes out, trinkets go in.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the idea. You hope that you sell the vinyl so that you have room to bring treasures home.
Do you think there's a relation or like an allegory between your music and home and the beauty of a work in progress?
Well, my music has always very much just been a record of my life at whatever given moment I have made that record. And my surroundings are always, influencing my work. And my life is always influencing my work. And the stories that I'm telling are my own stories and stories of people that I know directly. Yeah, I'm not making anything up.
What's the record that you put on when you're doing a project at the house? Like, what's your like
The
go-to?
go-to. We had Harvest Moon stuck in the CD player of our car for probably close to 5 years. It was great. I never got tired of it. Such a good record. But at home, we listen to music on vinyl, and those are the records that I know the best. And that's the way that I prefer to listen to music because I really think it gives you an opportunity to know the record and to have a relationship with that in life. Lately, I've been listening. I just got Lou Hazel's new record called Riot of the Red. That's a great record.
Oh, how I miss my brother so. He's always somewhere on the road. And if I find him, well, he's home. He's all alone in his own world.
I saw him open for Courtney Marie Andrews a couple nights ago, and I had also seen him in Portland, I don't know, a few months ago, 4 months ago or something. That's a great record. Courtney Marie Andrews' new record is great.
It's a scary world.
we listen to a lot of old stuff, but more recently I've been putting effort into kind of diving into and discovering the music of working songwriters right now, and it's been really exciting. Anna Tivol. Outsiders, look out. It turns out we are not so different.
It feels like there's there's always working musicians who are struggling and trying to put forth creativity and living. But it feels really right now there's a lot of folks who are pushing that edge.
There are, yeah. It feels like there's a bit of a resurgence and a return to a simpler sound as well, in some ways of a voice and an instrument. Obviously, we all kind of flush out our records, but that seed of like the message of the song feels really potent right now. And I think there's a lot of artists making really incredible work, and it's inspiring.
Much of your music feels really delicate and seems like it's about as much of what's not in the space between the notes and the phrases. When you're songcrafting, what's the process of addition and subtraction like for you?
It's interesting. It's different with every song, but sometimes a song starts with the words and then I start bringing in the guitar, or in some cases piano. I write, I delete words. It's like a living document for a while. And the same goes for the melody. The melody sometimes changes so many times. There's a song on my new record, and that chorus changed like 15 times. I wanted it to feel a certain way, and it just kept not being what I wanted it to be. And I had to work really hard for it to land, and it finally landed. But yeah, sometimes it's this like moving amorphous being until you're like, nope, you're done.
Yeah.
All the words have landed, the melody has landed. Yeah.
Do you feel forced to be done, or if you're like recording and you're like, this is just how it's going to be now, or do you continue to evolve your songs after they're cut?
I think once they're recorded, that's how the song goes. But I do think the live performances of my songs are ever evolving. And as someone, I've been in the music industry for about 20 years, and my career has been more established in Europe than it is in the States. And I've kind of neglected my career in here locally for about 12 years, really, because I have a 12-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old, and it just wasn't really worth my while, to be honest, to tour around the US. In Europe, I have a career because of my very early albums, because of the success that my first record had and my second record had. So over the years, I've had to continue performing these songs that I wrote when I was 21, and I'm twice that now. As I've performed those songs for the past 20 years, they have inherently changed. And there are certain songs that when I wrote them, my young voice was really high. And there are certain songs that feel a lot more comfortable to sing in a slightly lower register now. So I have had to change those songs just like simply out of circumstance.
I do want to kind of chase that trail a little bit, just because I have a friend, Ryan, who plays in the Builders and the Butchers. He has this sort of concept of like, once a song is out of you, it's like this emotional release that's gone.
Oh, yeah.
And then people just pile all of their things on top of it. So having to perform these songs that are now 20 plus years old, like, how does that feel restricting at all? Or do you feel like some comfort going back to them? Is it like putting on an old sweater?
I think there have been certain songs that are trickier for me to have to continue performing. My song that was the most successful in Europe and specifically in France is called The Pirate's Gospel. And that's this hokey song that I wrote when I was 21. Like, definitely, in my opinion, not my best work. But it's so beloved over there by the audiences that I've had to keep doing it. And there have been moments where that has been a struggle for me. And I think in more recent years, I'm just like, you know what? Who cares? I can put my ego about this aside or my attitude about this aside, and I can appreciate the fact that this song truly like built a path for me over there and has allowed me to continue touring. So as in my older age, I'm like, I just try to face it with gratitude of like, thank you, weird song I wrote when I was 21. Like, this is so cool that I still get to come over here and perform for incredible audiences. And I can put my own baggage with it aside and sing that song happily for people. Will I be playing it in America? Like, probably not, you know, because it doesn't have the same history here either,
Yeah.
because it never had success here. But there is something cool about that. And I think I have to appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, grateful for any time anyone wants to
Totally
consume
to
your
spend with
art.
your music or that they're still showing up at your show 20 years later. I mean, that's cool. That's incredible.
What are some like minimalist records that you go back to that you're like, oh, I really want this like just really nice. A lot of your earlier stuff seems very,
Was sparse.
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
I think a record that I listened to in my early days of songwriting and that still is incredible is that Sybil Beyer record, The Color Green.
He made me forget about how wanton exert, and all of a sudden I found out.
It was recorded in the late 60s, but it was released, I think, in 2007. And it's like just this incredible record of some girl, probably in England, like singing these songs she wrote when she was super young. And her guitar is tuned down, like, I don't know, a full step or two steps, super weird tuning, and it's really low. And that record is really special. There are records like that that I have come back to and returned to. And often they're just this like moment in time when this like very specific thing happened with just a voice and a guitar. I love doing that too, but you know what? It's really fun to play music with other people.
Yeah,
I have done
absolutely.
the solo thing out of necessity for so long. And this record is the first one where I'm like going to be touring with a rhythm section, which is very exciting.
That's a great transition into my next question because, you know, the new record feels more filled out.
Mhm.
What were some of your new collaborators? What was the influence that they brought in? How did you feel that influence?
Well, I wrote all the songs very much alone, and I did demos of the songs solo, and there was something special about that. But as soon as I started playing the songs with other people, specifically with the drummer Danny Austin, he's the first drummer that I've played with where I felt like very at ease. And he plays really softly and gently, and it's been a really incredible experience because in the past I've felt overpowered by a drummer and they've played too loud and I've like lost my voice on tour from singing too loud. So Danny's really in tune with like the nuance and can play so softly. So I think that has been a really incredible experience. And I'm also playing with a stand-up bass player, Sebastian Owens, who's incredible. And they're both way younger than me and like super talented guys. And it's been fun. And they're local. They live in Portland, so it's like easy. And then I've also been playing with my friend Pete Lalish, who's in the band Lucius. And he had moved to Portland a couple years ago, and I started taking guitar lessons from him. He taught me a lot of cool chord shapes and interesting voicings that like really opened up my songwriting. So that was a big piece of like the journey of writing the songs as well, is like Pete was helping me to like make the guitar parts more interesting. So that was formative too. And Pete will do some shows with me, but he's also on the road a lot with Lucius. And I just like probably can't afford to tour with a full band. So, so we'll see. I'm gonna have a fun crew at Trout Lake Hall though. Pete's gonna come and the Hackles are gonna come. Luke and Katie played on the record, and like Katie will be playing clarinet and banjo. They're both gonna be singing backing vocals. So of all the shows, the Trout Lake Hall show and the Mississippi Studios show, like
Get the good lineup.
you'll get the good shows because everybody's local, so we can actually do that for you.
Absolutely. There was a quote in the bio for the new record. You were talking about yearning for community and sort of the results of your journey of being a mother and having young kids, which can feel very isolating as you
For
get
sure.
grind of family life. And then, stack on top of that COVID and all of the, plights of the modern world that we're
Yeah.
experiencing. And you said, I want to be alive. I want to see live music. I want to play it. Like, talk a little bit about that drive, that yearning.
I think I was feeling like even as I started recording demos of these new songs, I was totally alone. I was recording at home alone. I just had this realization, like I kind of started noticing, oh, there's all these other people playing shows. I was not engaging locally in the Portland music scene for like over a decade because my life was just not compatible with going out to see live music. I had little kids. I was too tired and I just couldn't do it. But now that my girls are bigger, I basically in the past year made a concerted effort to just go out, just go see local music, go to the Laurelhurst, go to the Showdown, like just leave your house, lady, you know? And what I found is that every time I went out, like I wasn't totally anonymous. I always recognized somebody.
Yeah.
Someone always was like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while." And I just kind of felt very easily welcomed back into the Portland music scene. And I met a bunch of people that I didn't know. I started playing music with some folks, and I made this record with people in Portland. And it's been really exciting and fun and inspiring to be around other musicians and inspiring to go see shows again. I feel so grateful to not have babies anymore and that I can do shit again.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I felt like a caged bird. Beautiful gilded cage I've been in for a long time.
Well, speaking of family, in a positive way, how's the fairy garden? Are your
Right? Yes. And there's probably like 5 fairy gardens in my yard at any given moment.
how many I have in my yard
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
What about what influence and inspiration do you draw from your children? That seems like a pretty common theme, right? You write a lot about your
Yeah.
experience of being a mother, and what drives you to write songs for them?
On this record, I mean, it's definitely there. I think having children really gets you in touch with the circle of life and the spectrum of life and aging and the cycles. So there's a lot of this like cycles, seasons, that feeling, and also just the fragility of life and trying to not take that for granted as you're just watching these children grow up before your eyes and soaking that all in. There's also challenges. There's a song on the record called To Be Kind, and that song was written for my 9-year-old because she can be so mean to me. She'll come up to me and just kick me in the shins. I hate you, mom. That sort of shit. And it's hard when little people are just assholes.
Yeah.
It's hard. So the chorus of that song is, I need you to be kind to me. I'll love you. No, the gist of the song is like, I love you even when you're screaming mad at me. Like, I love you at all the moments and through everything. But I also need you to be nice to me because I'm just a fucking lady. I'm a human being. Be nice.
Yeah. Also,
So-
I'm giving you my entire heart and soul.
And
So
I'm giving you my heart and soul, and I love you so much. Can you just try being nice sometimes? But I think the song also could translate to any, personal relationship. I think sometimes you're the harshest to the people that you're the closest to, and that's just the human experience, right? in my case, it was my kid, but could be your husband or whoever.
In a family context, like what are the records you guys reach for when you need like that bit of sunshine or you're, having that fun Sunday morning at the house?
Totally. We listen to, do you know that William Onyeabor record, Atomic Bomb?
I'm gonna explode. You mean you're gonna explode? I'm gonna explode. Watch out. I'm gonna explode. Like atomic bomb.
That one is a fun record. That is such a fun record. We listen to that a lot. The girls and all of us have been enjoying Hannah Cohen's Earth Star Mountain. It's pretty groovy and it's like just a fun record to have on. So many good records right now.
Do your kids have favorite records that they like constantly are putting on?
I mean, I think Una, the William Onyeabor one, definitely. I think lately, so we got them CD players for their rooms, and so they were basically like only listening to the CDs that my husband and I had in the early 2000s. But at Christmas, they got headphones for Christmas. And since then, they're just listening to all the crap. They're listening to the pop music and whatever. But they still listen to like quality music with us at home. Yeah, in the kitchen.
Yeah, one of our favorites to listen to is the Ebo Taylor My Love record.
Oh, I don't know that one.
My mama. My mama.
If you like that William record,
yeah.
Definitely check out the Ebo Taylor record.
I will check that out.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
You,
this has
Ray.
been an awesome conversation. I can't wait to see you in the band on June 12th, and
Awesome.
Shannon Lay is opening the night. You have
Shannon Lay is incredible.
I was so happy when those dates lined up. I was like, this is perfect. Thank you.
So good. So everyone come early and soak it up. It should be a fun night.
And then the new record's out on
May 22nd. Yeah. And for anyone, also just to say, for anyone who came to my last Trout Lake Hall show, this will be very different. This will be a fuller sound. I was solo last time, and so expect, a little bit of swaying if you can manage that.
I think we can manage a solid sway at the hall.
Okay, sure. I want a solid sway from the audience.
The last play was super fun though too, because you were going through some of that songwriting.
Oh, for sure.
Those songs for the first time. Yeah. So that was a really cool experience for me to see. So, thank you, Alela, so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for chatting.
In my own time, I take my own time. In my own time, I waste my time. In my own time, I bide my own time. In my own time, in my own time. Don't forget to go outside, to feel the wind, to breathe the cold air. The winter branches in these bones